All right, family covenant for the modern age, the Kanun. In the mountains of northern Albania, there's an ancient law that governs people's lives to this day. It's called the Kanun. Even though Albania is a modern country with modern laws, the people in the mountains still adhere to the Kanun today. It's similar to other ancient laws, such as Sharia, which can be found in many parts of the Middle East to this day. Laws such as these go far beyond our sense of the word law because they provide an all encompassing way to live. Perhaps a better word to use in modern English would be code. The Kanun is a customary code of honor that governs all aspects of life. It gives rules for land, money, family, marriage, clans, hospitality, the church, hunting, punishments, farming, the estate, blood, oaths, and everything else you could possibly think of for a society to thrive. Even to this day, people in the mountains live by these rules because they have been established for thousands of years. Nobody can trace the exact origins of these ancient laws, but they clearly go back to Bible times since we see many similarities between them and the Torah, which also happens to be the same kind of law because it provides a way for people to live. In Psalm 1, there's a line that says, "His delight is in the law of the Lord." A literal translation of this phrase would be Torah of Yahweh. His delight is in the Torah of Yahweh. The Torah is a law that God gave his people to live by. When we think of laws today, we think of things we can't do, otherwise we will face punishment. Speed limits, for example, would be considered a law. If we drive too fast, we'll get in trouble. But would we think of hospitality as a law? Not at all. This is why it's hard for us to understand ancient cultures. The laws in these cultures were more concerned with doing things than with not doing things. We should keep this in mind when we read the phrase law of the Lord in the Bible. When we hear that phrase, we tend to think of the phrase thou shalt not rather than thou shalt. It's true that God commanded his people to not do things, but the Torah is more concerned about doing the right thing than it is about punishing the wrong thing. It's more about story than rules. It's the story of life. At the end of the Torah, it says, "See, I set before you today life and prosperity, death and destruction. For I command you today to love the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to him, and to keep his commands, decrees, and laws. Then you will live and increase, and the Lord your God will bless you in the land you are entering to possess." That's what these ancient laws are all about: life and death. Instead of viewing them as archaic or outdated, we should humbly learn from them in order to get life. Life cannot be had in the midst of chaos. We need order and structure to thrive. In our modern age of tumult, we must return to these ancient principles in order to stave off the death of society. The Kanun defines family this way: a family is a group of human beings who live under the same roof, whose aim is to increase their number by means of marriage for their establishment and the evolution of their state, and for the development of their reason and intellect. Wow, this is almost the same definition of a family that we already came up with. We also see a similar conclusion when it comes to the roles in a family. For example, the father must ensure the safety of the members of the house and not lead the house to destruction or extinction. The wife must handle the inner workings of the home and submit to her husband's dominion. We also see the same types of rules applying to land and estate. Nobody can sell land without consulting the family first, and land cannot be sold to anyone outside the village. Even in Albania today, it's very difficult for foreigners to buy land in the mountains because people hold the Kanun more dearly than they hold official Albanian law. In our so-called progressive society today, people view these types of rules as oppressive. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Laws such as the Kanun have been refined over thousands of years to protect life. How arrogant would we have to be to believe that our experts today know better than the Kanun? Would anyone say that Canadian families are thriving today? No. It seems as though the more relationship coaches we get, the worse our family health becomes. People in the mountains of Albania don't need relationship coaches. They have the Kanun to give the families structure. For example, the Kanun gives the husband the right to correct his wife. It also does not give the wife the right to take the kids and leave. These rules are incredibly life-giving because they protect the family from death. Our society today must wake up and choose life. Women should be voluntarily choosing to forsake our modern laws and return to ancient laws such as the Bible or the Kanun because they see how much life these laws breathe into a family. Without laws like these, families die. Our modern laws have led to a culture of non-committal men who just want one-night stands forever. If we want to change the culture, we have to change the laws. God said through the prophet Jeremiah, "Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is, and walk in it, and you will find rest for your souls." But you said, "We will not walk in it."